Hello friends, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time clicking on my channel, welcome. I am here to offer you a very soothing, nourishing yin yoga practice with the intention of resting on the inside. So we do take this time of rest during our sleep at night, but I myself have been practicing taking a rest while I'm awake, so feeling that rest within my body. So to rest the mind, rest the muscles, rest just your entire internal system. And Yin Yoga offers so many great benefits, and especially the opportunity to do that, to rest on the inside. So as we move through our poses today and hold the poses anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, I'm just going to be guiding you on really breathing into the body and coming to that place of rest in that pose and in your body. I will be using a blanket today. If you want to bring in any other props, you can, of course, always do that. And if this all sounds just what you need mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, soulfully, everything, join me. So go grab your props and I will meet you back on your mat. All right, my sweet friends, we're going to get started in a easy seated pose. I am sitting on my blanket. I just have it folded a couple of times just to elevate the hips. And then right away, I want you to find a place that feels most comfortable for you. There are a few different options that an easy seated pose can be. So one can be having one leg on top of the other. It can be having one leg in front of the other. It can also maybe even be like just a butterfly pose, and maybe you use some pillows or blocks underneath the knees. The main thing here in this easy seated pose is you want the legs to be able to deactivate the glutes, the low back, so that you can just settle into this seated pose comfortably. Okay, so finding what's comfortable for you, get yourself rooted and grounded into that. And then once you do that, right away, close the eyes. So we want to come into that internal place, and we do that by closing the eyes and just trusting my guidance here. And I want you to feel into your body's position. So the upper body. Notice if you feel like you're leaning forward or if you're leaning further back. We want to find that sweet spot where the shoulders are aligned over the hips as best as they can be. And then your head, bringing the chin back slightly and just resting here. Breathing in and out through your nose and relaxing all of your facial muscles. And letting the shoulders relax, your jaw. Let your belly be at ease. So it's very common in this easy seated pose to think that we need to have the stomach pulled in and sitting very rigidly and erect, but I want you to really find some softness here without losing the integrity of your posture. And finding some softness through the arms, through the elbows, the wrists, the hands, and your legs. And holding this place of rest, we're going to invite in a pranayama, a focused breathing practice. And we're going to inhale through the nose for the count of 4. And then we're going to pause and hold the breath. And then exhale through the nose for the count of 6. Now I'm going to count. So we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale through the nose. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften everything again. Rest the belly. And then again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale through the nose. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the belly relax. One more round. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the belly. And now taking a cleansing breath, inhale through your nose, send the breath as far down into the low belly as you can. And then take an open mouth exhale with a sigh. Beautiful. Opening the eyes. Let's take some shoulder rolls. Just letting go of any tension that may be here in the shoulders. Going the opposite direction. Perfect. And then we're going to make our way into child's pose. We're going to roll over, and I'll invite you to use your blanket here. Unless you're on carpet, you may not need the extra padding, but just to make this a little bit more nourishing and a place where the body can rest. That's why I'm using the extra padding. Good. So we're going to bring the knees nice and wide and bring those big toes in towards each other. Send your hips back towards your heels. And then walking the hands out. Bringing your forehead to your mat or as far down as you can. You can always use a cushion or a block or a blanket underneath the forehead. And once you settle here, taking one of those cleansing breaths. So inhaling through the nose, filling up your belly, your back. Open mouth exhale with a sigh. Letting your whole upper body melt to the earth here. And if you have some sensitivity in your shoulders, if they're a little tight, you can always bend the elbows, send the elbows out towards the edges of your mat, and then bring the hands in together, just stacking one hand over the other. Relaxing your jaw. Breathing in and out through your nose. And inviting the body and the mind to both be at rest here.
Taking 3 more breaths here. Now taking a cleansing breath. Inhale, fill up the back, fill up your belly. Open mouth, exhale. And bringing the hands back close towards you, press yourself up. And if it's okay for you to sit on the heels, come here, just bring the knees and thighs in together. If this is a little bit too much on your heels, you can just shift over to one hip and come back to that easy seated pose. We're not going to be here too long, just a counter pose. And I want you just to feel in to your body, feel the sensations as your body realigns, the spine realigns in a upward position. Noticing any other sensations you may be feeling here. As we come to, again, this place of rest and really tuning into your body. So resting the monkey mind and just being present to what you're feeling here in this moment. Let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose all the way to the belly. Open mouth, exhale. Perfect. Opening the eyes. And then we'll all make our way back over to an easy seated position. You can take your blanket out and just set that off to the side. And then from your easy seated position, just send that right leg out at an angle. And your left heel, actually let's bring the left sole, the bottom of the foot to the inner right thigh. Perfect. And then we're going to bring the hands out in front of us. You're going to take an inhale, lengthen, lift up out of the low back. And then as you exhale, walk yourself forward here. It's a really good hamstring stretch. Now, be mindful if that right leg, if the foot and knee want to roll in or roll out. You want to do your best to keep the toes and the knees facing up. Good. And then just walking yourself out, finding where your fold is here today. Keep pressing down through that right hip and glute and sit bone. And once you find where you're feeling a pretty good stretch in that right hamstring, or maybe even into the glute and the low back, pause there and then just let your head be at ease, dropping chin into the chest. And just giving your upper body to gravity. De-stress the shoulders. So notice if the shoulders are crunched up by the ears. Just let them have some space to be at rest and relax. And as your body, your upper body gives in to gravity, you may feel that you can come into your fold a little deeper. So you just walk yourself out a little further. Let your jaw relax. Facial muscles. Let's take one more breath here, cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, fill up your belly, fill up your back. Open mouth, exhale. And then slowly, gently bringing the upper body back up. Good. We will pause here at the top. Again, come back into noticing how you're feeling. Taking a cleansing breath here. Good. And before we go to the other side, let's take a little neck release. So I'll have you tilt your head, right ear, right shoulder. And then you're going to bring your left hand out to the floor by your left hip. I want you to feel for this nice deep stretch through the trap, up through the neck. And then you can add a little extra by bringing that right hand up and over towards your left ear. And then just gently lengthening. So not pressing the head down, but just adding a little added extension here. And we'll just take 3 breaths here, breathing into the left side of your neck. Good. One more breath. Big breath in. Big breath out. Release that right hand down. Bring your left hand back to your thigh. Very slowly bringing the head back to center. Pause. Feel that sensation. Let all that tension go. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then we'll switch to the other side. So bringing that right foot in, left leg extends out. Good. Hands out in front. Inhale, lengthen, lift up out of the low back, and then exhale, walking yourself forward. Checking in with the leg that it's not rolling in or out. And then finding your edge. And then inviting in that time, that place of rest here. 3 more breaths here. Cleansing breath. Walking the upper body back up. Pausing here at the top. Cleansing breath. And then taking our neck release on the left side. So left ear falls to the left shoulder. Right hand's going to come to the floor or to your mat, out by the right hip. And then maybe bring that left hand up and over by the right ear. 3 slow, deep breaths here. Cleansing breath. Release your left hand back down, both hands to their thighs, and then slowly bring the head back up. Pause here, let the shoulders resoften. Cleansing breath. Beautiful. Open the eyes. Let's just send that right leg out. Just give the legs a little wiggle, a little shake. Good. And then I will have you grab your blanket and we're going to roll it up so it's like a little burrito. Good. And then I'm going to have you come down to your back. We're going to do a supported bridge. So once you get here, let's first bring the knees in towards the chest, taking a rock side to side. Just releasing the low back. Good, and then widen your knees. Bring the knees in towards your armpits. Press down through the shoulders. Press down through your sacrum. And then taking a breath into your belly. Open mouth, exhale. And release. Let your feet come to your mat. And then you're going to grab that blanket. We're going to press into the feet to lift the hips up just enough to be able to bring that blanket right underneath the hips. So we don't want it at the low back. You want it right underneath the hips. So once you lower down, your hips are completely supported. Your low back may be off of your mat, and that's perfectly fine. But now to find a little length through the spine, I want you just to walk the shoulders up towards the top of your mat just one time. So just creating some extra length in the spine, and you may feel some extra space in the low back. And then from here, we're going to bring right knee in toward the chest. Both hands are going to hold on to that knee and then extend your left leg all the way out. And you're going to adjust your head, bring the chin in towards the chest, and then lower your head back down. And let's just take a few rotations through that right ankle and going the opposite direction. And then just pausing in stillness and rest here. You can maybe bring that right knee a little further out by your armpit to create a little bit more space. Breathing in and out through your nose, nice, slow, fluid breaths. You should be feeling this in your left hip flexor, psoas, and maybe in that right glute. I'm taking one more breath here. And sliding that left foot back to your mat. Release your right foot down. And then we'll just switch right to the other side. So hugging the left knee in. Extend your right leg out. And taking some rotations through that left foot and ankle. And then coming to stillness, to rest here. You can maybe widen that knee a bit out to the armpit. Readjust your head and neck. One more breath here. Keep your left knee hugged in, and then we're going to bring the right knee in as well. Opening both knees nice and wide, and really opening up that low back here. Taking 3 breaths here. Cleansing breath. And now sending your feet up towards the ceiling, straightening the legs as best as you can. Let your arms come to rest on the floor, palms facing down or up, whatever feels best for you. Coming into what we call waterfall pose in YIN. So your low back should be slightly supported with the blanket. And we are just letting the legs find a comfortable position. Let the feet be relaxed. Let your shoulders get heavy to the earth. Finding rest in this pose. And it's natural to have a little quivering or a little movement, shaking in the legs. Taking one more breath here. Big breath in through the nose. Fill up your belly, fill up your back. Open mouth, exhale. Bend the knees into your chest. And while you're here, just scooch that blanket very slowly out from underneath you. Good. And set the blanket off to the side. We're going to hug the knees in, giving yourself a big hug. Take a big breath to the belly. Big breath out. Lowering your feet to your mat, nice and easy. And before we come into Shavasana, we're going to take a little windshield wiper here. It just is really good to kind of just bring the low back into its natural alignment. So have you walk your feet out so they're about the width of your mat. Your hands can just rest on your belly. You're just going to drop the knees, the legs side to side a few times. Just taking it nice and easy. Good. The next time they come to the right, just hold here, taking one full breath. Inhale through the nose, fill up your belly. Open mouth, exhale. And slowly bringing the knees back up and let them fall over to the left. Same thing here, pausing here. Inhale through the nose, fill up the belly. Open mouth, exhale. Bringing the knees back to center. And then keeping the feet wide, just extend the legs out. Let your feet fall out to the side. Maybe you keep your hands resting on your belly, or maybe you let the arms fall to the floor, making your way into Shavasana. Maybe you choose to use your blanket to cover yourself up, as I want you to invite in this Shavasana as a time of internal rest for you. And once you get settled, taking a full, nourishing, cleansing breath, giving your full body and mind permission to relax, to be at ease. And to be at rest. And let your mind be at rest. Let your heart be at rest. Let your belly be at rest. Let your body be at rest. Let your thoughts be at rest. Let your emotions be at rest. And let yourself be at rest. And I'm going to end my time with you here, my dear. Inviting you to stay here in this place of rest as long as feels good for you. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me today, and thank you so much for choosing to practice for yourself. May you have a beautiful rest of your day. From my heart to yours, Namaste.